Today, I want to talk about water. This is the beginning of a long series of conversations and videos about the topic of water because it is very important. It is arguably the second most vital component for our vitality, second behind oxygen. We can live for a couple of minutes without oxygen, and we can live a couple of days without water. And when I'm talking about water, I'm talking more so on what we are drinking with water, how we are hydrating our bodies and allowing our bodies to function on a cellular level, because almost every function of our body, which is so intricate and astonishing of how it all works together, requires a balance of water and electrolytes. Okay, so my journey starting looking into the water rabbit hole, which I've dove very deep into, started with just simply drinking more water. I wasn't worried about what kind of water I was drinking. I just knew that I needed to drink more water to stay hydrated. And especially once I started doing some more mental and physical challenges and adopting different lifestyles like 75 Hard, where they make it a goal and an objective to drink 4 liters of water a day. And that in theory sounds great. Yes, better hydration. However, myself and probably a lot of other people out there, I was drinking tap water. And I don't want you to go, oh no, we've got the cleanest water. And now listen, I'm from the Fraser Valley, which is just outside of Vancouver, so I get it. We have some of the best quality water in the world. However, that bar is set so incredibly low. It's like saying we have the best 4-year-old figure skating team in the world. It's not going to be overly impressive. So about 5 years ago, I started to have some issues. I've always been rather fit, but I wasn't always necessarily the healthiest. And I started noticing that I was having digestive issues. And I ignored them for longer than I would like to admit. And I finally went to go talk to a holistic nutritionist / naturopath. And one of the things we addressed was the type of water I was drinking. And so naturally, one of the first things I stopped doing was drinking tap water. So not only did I make a whole bunch of other changes in my life, but I also started drinking water specifically from my naturopath, which was Kangen Water. Now there's going to be a video right here explaining all about my experience with Kangen Water. Not to say it's a bad company or it's the wrong company or the wrong type of water, but I'm just going to share my experience, and that video is going to be right here when it's done. So then a little while after that, I moved to Mexico. And despite that looking glorious from the outside, that was a very stressful move. And I had other gut issues that I had to work on fixing along with my stress levels. And being now that we live in a different country where we don't necessarily have the cleanest water source, in fact, it's very well known not to drink the tap water at all because it'll make you sick, I started diving further down the water rabbit hole. And I just wanted to mention that even though I bought a Kangen machine and I actually brought it with me to Mexico, I no longer use it. And I never suggested that anyone else should buy it, nor did I even finish the paperwork for signing up to be a distributor for it. So as I dove down this deep, deep rabbit hole that is water, something so seemingly simple, not the case. You know, you learn about reverse osmosis and mineral water and spring water. Then you learn about hydrogen water and alkaline water and structured water and water from fruit and H3O2. And I dug so deep down the water hole in educating myself. Because at the end of the day, that's what rabbit holes are for. They're for you to get a better understanding of the topic so that I have the information to decipher through and decide what is the best option for me. And then between 1 and 2 years ago, I heard a gentleman by the name of Gary Brecka talk on Joe Rogan's podcast. And he talked about the benefits of hydrogen-rich water. And that, of course, spiked my curiosity. Of course, I dug down. Of course, I did my research on the guy who was talking about it, Gary Brecka himself, as well as starting doing some more research on hydrogen. And a lot of people don't know this, but I actually had a business online for about 8 months where I sold hydrogen bottles through a drop shipping method. Through all my research, I found what I thought to be a quality bottle and a quality product that stood up to my values as well as my education on the topic. But as I continued to educate myself, it wasn't quite feeling right, and I shut that store down. And through this whole process, I've continued to educate myself, and I have landed on the product that is going to deliver the best and most optimal water for myself, and I've got it right here. So this bottle is called the Luma Vitae, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Taking a look at the box, it's got their little symbol. It's hard to see. It's just black on black. Hydrogen water bottle by Nuno Nina, and I'll tell you more about that gentleman. He's a doctor. I'll tell you about a little bit later in the video. So when you open the box, there's a nice little card in the front here. I'm going to read it out to you. Right now, in the palm of your hand lies the vast potential for hydrogen, a cosmic force that has shaped galaxies and ignited stars. May you discover a boundless universe of pure well-being with every sip. Signed, Nuno Nina. All right, let's get rid of this. And this is the packaging it comes in. Starting out with the bottle itself, it is made of Tritan medical grade plastic. Got a couple extra rubber seals, charging cord, and a wireless charging base for it. Down here also is the base, which has a cap on it to keep moisture in the membrane, which again, I'll explain to you later. Actually, no, I'm going to explain it right now. The proton exchange membrane that is in here, not only is it designed and manufactured specifically by Dr. Nuno Nina, but what that does, it actually separates the hydrogen from the other molecules in the water, oxygen and other byproducts such as chlorine, and this titanium membrane only allows the hydrogen to go through it and dissolves the hydrogen back into the water, while everything else comes out a little off-gassing port, which might be hard to see, but it's right there. So just gotta screw this on. And yes, I pre-washed this. I'm going to fill it up with water. And then the lid. Okay, so what makes this product any different from any other hydrogen generating bottle, whether it be the Echo Go, which is a product that is sponsored by Gary Brecka himself, or Kangen, or any of these hydrogen machines? Not only is it a hydrogen generating water bottle, so as you see the bubbles coming up here, that's hydrogen being dissolved back into the water, but it also has magnets in the base of it. And these magnets are specifically designed to mimic the natural magnetic field of the earth, as if like water is flowing over rocks. And I believe that is for like a structuring of the water. And then we move to the lid. The lid actually emits different frequencies on the water. So it has 3 different settings. I don't know if you've seen videos of exposing water to something and freezing it, and water actually holding the energy of that image and it being frozen into it. Same with how there's wineries that play beautiful, soft, soothing, and encouraging music to their vines to grow bigger, better, and more luscious grapes. It's the same principle. This is putting positive frequencies into your water. And there's 3 different settings. There's a energy, there's a recovery, and there's a special Luma Vitae frequency. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about what makes this product so special and why I've landed on this particular product. So one piece of it is where it originated from. The doctor that I mentioned earlier that designed and created this bottle, Dr. Nuno Nina, he's basically being held at the same regard as like a Nikola Tesla type genius. He's said to be part autistic and he sees magnetic fields. And everything that he teaches is very opposite of what we learn about water, in a sense that he looks at it from a magnetic standpoint. So Dr. Nina is in Portugal and he has a clinic where he treats people with hydrogen. And he's treated over 70,000 people over the past 20 years. And he actually created a prototype of this bottle about 15 years ago that he had no intention of ever releasing to the public. He used it just for the purpose of healing his clients or his patients. And in diving down this rabbit hole of water, I've seen other people and they, one group of people totes that alkalinity is the number one thing to look at. You need to have an alkaline body, blah, blah, blah. Then the next people say, well, ORP is the most important, which is oxidation reduction potential. And then the next people say, well, the pH is more important, which is tied to alkalinity. And then other people say, well, no, it's strictly more hydrogen equals better. And what Dr. Nina has found through his own anecdotal experience treating 70,000 patients, it is not one of those compounds, but it is a proprietary blend of all of them put together. A perfect combination that works in synchronicity with the body to bring the body back to a state of homeostasis, because that's the whole purpose of this. So the body can return to a state where it can actually function and heal the body itself. Because believe it or not, our bodies have the potential to do this. And I'm going to make another video that's going to live right here, and it's going to be called The Sad Truth Behind Hydrogen Water Bottles, and I'll explain all about it. So not only have they mixed this proprietary blend of pH, hydrogen, and ORP, but they've also added in the elements with the magnets in the base, as well as the frequency in the lid. And then came along some very savvy business people. There's a few people that are prominent figures in the company Mindvalley, which is like a self-betterment and education platform, and a lady by the name of Taryn Lee, who is a Forbes featured business coach, guru, and frequency expert. And like I said, a prominent member and educator in Mindvalley, came together with Dr. Nuno Nina to bring his innovation and bring his wisdom and his knowledge and his expertise to the open markets. So they spent the last 7 years perfecting this bottle and creating an ecosystem where they own every single element of the process: design, innovation, invention, manufacturing, assembling, distribution. They own the whole process. And the company is all about education. Luma Vitae is bringing in leaders in the hydrogen space from all around the world to educate the people within the company, because education is the first and foremost, which, similar to me, that's how I stumbled upon the company, because I was educating myself. And there are multiple other doctors involved in the high up organization of Luma Vitae. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I stopped my dropshipping business selling the hydrogen water bottles, because it was just a white label product that was buying from a distributor in China, marketing and reselling in North America. And I honestly just didn't know enough about the product. You can't really communicate with the factories the way I would like to, where this company owns the entire process and there's nothing to be hidden. They have all the information right there for you, for people to make the most informed decisions. So not only do I trust the science and the rabbit hole that I've been down educating myself about hydrogen water, but I also trust the people behind the company and their methodology. And now the last piece of the pie is I want to have and be able to share my own experience with the bottle. So what I'm going to do is, from this day forward, I'm going to be drinking this water only. Whether the outcome is good or bad, I'm going to share my experience for the next 30 to 60 days drinking this water. I believe that it is the best bottle on the market, and it might arguably be better than some of the more expensive countertop models that are between $2,000 and $5,000. So much like many other things in my life, I'm going to continue the trend, and I am going to be my own science experiment. I'm not going to change too much in my world. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to drinking the Luma Vitae water. Because when I tell people how passionate I am about something and how much I trust the science that backs it and the people that back it, I want to also be able to share my own anecdotal experience that the product is the best product on the market. Okay, so let's give a little rundown of my day-to-day, my weekly life right now, and my health. I actually have a blood panel waiting for me to pick up the results at the clinic right now, where I did a full panel of vitamins and lipids and hormones as well. So I'm sure I'll throw checking in those markers fairly soon. My diet right now consists of mostly red meat, eggs, dairy, mostly raw dairy, a little bit of fruit, and some vegetables. I would say about 90% of my food is whole, single ingredient foods. I already don't drink alcohol, so it's not like I'm stopping alcohol and watching the effects of that. I already don't drink. I smoke weed 2 to 3 times a week, so that's not really going to change anything. And if you want to hear my story about weed, I'll put a video right here linking to it. My exercise during the week look like this. On Mondays, I go to the gym and I lift weights for about an hour to an hour and a half. Tuesday morning, I go to Muay Thai and I train Muay Thai for an hour, and then I usually lift weights for about an hour. Wednesday is a rest day. Thursday, I do the same as Tuesday, where I go to Muay Thai for an hour and then lift weights afterwards. Friday, I play beach volleyball for 2 to 3 hours on the beach, which is very exhausting. And then sometimes on the workout, I'll do an at-home banded body weight style workout. So I'm pretty active, and all that is going to stay pretty steady through the course of this whole science experiment. So there's one thing in particular that is a bit of an issue for me, and I've honestly had it the entire time I've been in Mexico, and I don't talk about it often, but I've been having issues with, in the middle of the day, having like my head feeling like a brick, like a block of concrete. I get brain fog and a little bit of low energy, which is funny because I currently live in a house made of blocks, surrounded by other houses made of blocks, surrounded by walls made of blocks. So no wonder I feel like a bit of blockhead. I typically don't have my first meal until between 11 and 12 in the morning after training, which is usually like beef, eggs, and avocado. So like I say, I'm not making any big changes. I'm going to monitor everything on my Whoop straps so I can see what kind of data I'm collecting via my recovery scores, my sleep, my energy output, and other vital markers. And I'll put a video when it's done all about my Whoop strap right up here, because I think it is the best fitness tracker and optimization tool on the market. So the midday brain fog and a little bit of dip in energy is one of the biggest things I'm looking to get rid of. And I'm hoping that the Luma Vitae water is going to get rid of that. And if I can, that is going to be a large part of my testimony of what it actually did for me. So when I'm telling people about the science behind it and other people's anecdotes and about the company and the people behind the company and the genius of it, they can turn to me and say, well, have you noticed a difference drinking it? I can genuinely say yes and share my story. So as I said before, I'm going to make an entire series around water, because water is just so important. I'm going to have interviews with water experts. I'm going to talk about different things in water, different types of water, and just try to be a medium of information, because there's a lot of information out there and it's hard to sift through it and find what is true and what is false. And I'm going to put a link right up here to that playlist. I already have done 2 interviews with my good friend Shayne McCarthy, who is the H2 water expert, H2 being molecular hydrogen. So the second one that lives on my channel will be right here as well. And the other interview that we did, we got a lot off topic and talked about a lot of different things and talked about what our views are of the universe and the world. And that's on his podcast. I'm going to put that one right here. And I'm doing this because, like I said, water is the most important thing we put into our bodies. So if you're looking to optimize your health and optimize your being, there's no sense in saying, the water I drink right now is fine. You're only fine until you're not fine. So why not be optimal and not have to worry about the presence of dis-ease or issues in your stomach or inflammatory conditions? Why not just settle those scores before they even hit the scoreboard? Okay, so a little bit of a disclaimer here. Yes, this is set up like a MLM. And yes, I am going to talk about it. But I honestly don't even feel like there's much sales involved. The way the company is structured and education is so heavily emphasized at the forefront of the entire business. And then it becomes very clear that this is an investment into your body as a vessel. And you either go through the science and you decide that you want it or you don't. And if you have a profound experience with it and you believe in it as much as I do, then you can turn it into a business for yourself as well. It's also a very good compensation plan. So I am personally very aligned with what this business is all about. It's facilitating personal excellence, which is a perfect representation of my brand, which once you do all these things is only as a byproduct is raising consciousness. And I am all about optimization, and I am willing to endorse and sell any product that I use regularly and that I can say with conviction are contributing to the evolution of getting one step closer to the absolute best, most optimal version of myself. And if you got a problem with that, I don't care. It's not the only thing I'm going to be talking about. I've got like 40 more videos lined up that have nothing to do with water. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Cheers to living a vitalic lifestyle and starting with your water that you drink. There are going to be links down below to information about hydrogen, information about the company, information about the product itself. You guys, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you have any suggestions, any pertinent information that you feel that I should know if I don't already know it, or pertinent information that you have that you feel that I should know, please let me know down in the comments. Like, I want to know what people are doing to get the best water, the cleanest, most effective water to hydrate their bodies and make their bodies operate on an optimal cellular level. I want to know about it. I want this community to be a place of open discussion, not about a battle of who's right and who's wrong, but respectful, cordial conversation. So guys, with that being said, thank you so much. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on the next one.